The number one pick in the 2023 NBA draft goes to the San Antonio Spurs.
The wait is over. The basketball gods have spoken, and whether you like it or not, the 7-foot phenom out of France is now headed to San Antonio to join with the Spurs. Now, as we all know, Victor Wembanyama isn't your typical number one overall pick. The man stands 7'4", but has guard skills. The man towers over everyone and isn't afraid of anyone. The man already knows he's the number one prospect in NBA history, but still desires more. The sky is literally the limit for the young 19-year-old, and the Spurs are going to make sure of that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the scary truth about San Antonio drafting Victor Wembanyama. You know, looking at the draft odds, there was no better team to draft Wembanyama than the Spurs. Going to the Pistons or the Rockets, based on their underwhelming track record of player development, would have probably wasted a generational talent and would have completely ended the hype. And the funny thing is, Wemby knew it too. I mean, just look at Wembanyama's reaction after it was announced that the Houston Rockets would only get the 4th overall pick. That was completely priceless. But who can blame him based on how the Rockets have been developing their recent number 2 overall pick, Jalen Green? But anyway, although it would have been exciting to see him paired with LaMelo Ball in Charlotte, no one can deny the greatness and dynasty potential that he has with the San Antonio Spurs, who time after time after time have produced stars and superstars. I mean, the results speak for themselves. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, DeJounte Murray. These are the type of stars that have developed under Popovich's reign, which ultimately led to 5 championships over the last 2.5 decades. Sheesh, guys. Then to add on to that, Wembanyama isn't your normal one-and-done player coming out of college. No. He's so much more, and here's what I mean. So, as we all know by now, Wembanyama didn't go the traditional college route. He instead went to play professionally in the LNB Pro A, which is the top-tier men's professional basketball league in France, where, in its NBA equivalent, he just finished as the MVP, the scoring champion, the blocking champion, and the defensive player of the year. Oh my goodness, guys. Talk about a cheat code. He was playing in a league with fully grown men, and even on his own team, the Metropolitans 92, he was the youngest player at age 19, and yet the man completely dominated every major award. Can you imagine how good this guy will get when he grows into his body a bit more? I couldn't be more excited than to see a player of Victor's caliber being drafted by one of the best organizations in league history, because this guy is literally a combination of Kevin Durant mixed with Giannis. The combination of his shooting ability and ferociousness of getting to the rim is going to give me video topics for years to come. You know, at the moment, we're all absolutely enamored by what Nikola Jokic could do on the court, and for good reasons. I mean, he's completely shattered records that were once thought to be unbreakable and has shown us things that we've never seen before. At the same time, however, even though Wembanyama hasn't played a single NBA minute yet, something tells me that once again, we're about to see things that we've never seen before. I mean, y'all seen the clip where he did a pullback dunk on his own missed 3, right? That was absolutely unheard of. And if I didn't see it with my own 2 eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. And the thing is, he's only 19 years old at the moment. By the time he's well developed into his career, I have a feeling he's going to have multiple games where he has quadruple doubles with points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. And the crazy thing is, we're probably not even going to be surprised about it. Just like how we're not surprised about how the Joker's ability to put forth consecutive 30-point triple-double games with godlike efficiencies. But anyway, back to Wembanyama being drafted by an elite organization like the Spurs. What's even more frightening is that they've actually been preparing for his arrival. I mean, just look. Every single year going forward for the next few years, they have numerous first-round picks and even more second-round picks. Then, in addition, the Spurs also have a load of young talents like Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, and the second coming of Dennis Rodman himself. What this all means is that the San Antonio Spurs have all the necessary resources to immediately build around Wembanyama. What else does this mean? Well, for starters, Ja Morant isn't fine in the West no more. Heck, he ain't even fine in his own division. I mean, in addition to having to save his career from social media outbursts, he now has to contend with Zion Williamson, Luka Doncic, and Victor Wembanyama. But that's a different story for another day. At the moment, a major question we gotta ask ourselves is, when will Wembanyama be ready for the NBA? When will the 2023 #1 overall pick become a serious problem for the rest of the league? I mean, at the moment, he has yet to taste the rigors of playing in the best league in the world, and at only 19 years of age, he isn't anywhere near his max potential just yet. Well, to answer that question, let's first take a look at other highly sought-after bigs in the league who became household names, and how long it took them to become superstars. Now, the definition of a superstar could be a bit vague, so I'll just use the year when they were first selected to any of the All-NBA teams. My apologies if I miss a name or two here, but without further ado, David Robinson was drafted by the Spurs in 1987 when he was 22 years old, but didn't start playing until the 1990 season, where he immediately averaged 24 points, 12 rebounds, and was selected to be an All-Star and to an All-NBA team. Tim Duncan was drafted to the Spurs in 1997 when he was 21 years old, and in his first year in the league, he was selected to the All-Star team and the All-NBA first team. Now, since there are loads of other centers who became stars in the league, I'll just quickly list them out here of how old they were and in what year they became superstars. Shaq was in his second year at the age of 22. Kevin Garnett was in his fourth year at the age of 23. Dirk Nowitzki was in his third year at the age of 22. Amari Stoudemire was in his third year at the age of 23. Yao Ming was in his second year at the age of 23. Dwight Howard was in his third year at the age of 22. And Anthony Davis was in his third year at the age of 22. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the biggest names of centers who are widely sought after. 6 of them were drafted first overall, and the other 3 were still highly sought after lottery picks. And again, my apologies if I may have missed a name or two, but for the most part, this list should do. So, taking the average of all of these, Wembanyama should become a problem at around year 2.5 at the age of 22.5. Sheesh, guys, that's coming up pretty fast. You know, I'm completely bummed out that in a couple of years we won't be seeing Steph Curry, LeBron James, and the old NBA superstars anymore, but man, it'll be insane to watch the best prospect in NBA history make his mark in the NBA world. And since he's being developed by the San Antonio Spurs, by this data, he should become a legit superstar pretty much by year 2, or year 3 at the latest. And the fans of San Antonio are going to be entertained very well for the next 2 decades or so. Anyway, next up is coaching. Now, there have been rumors of Greg Popovich retiring, but I'm absolutely certain that he won't be retiring anytime soon now that they're on the cusp of drafting Wembanyama. If anything, getting this top pick has probably reinvigorated him and lit a spark. He probably has 100 ideas already and has a plan of action at this very moment on how he'll tackle the challenge of creating another perennial championship team. He may be the oldest NBA coach ever at the moment, at age 74, but Jim Boeheim was the head coach of a college basketball team until this year actually, at the age of 78. So Popovich still probably has enough in him to get Wembanyama into that MVP conversation, and perhaps even a finals appearance or a championship. Now, the only thing that we as fans have to watch out for is that Popovich doesn't turn Wembanyama into Tim Duncan 2.0, because, gosh guys, if that happens, San Antonio is going to turn into Bank Shot City, and although they may be a force to reckon with, they'll arguably become the most boring team to watch. I mean, can you imagine? With all that guard skill, the ability to shoot 3, the ability to pull up from mid-range, can you imagine that all he does is get within 5 feet of the rim and do a bank shot that Duncan abused en route to winning 5 championships? Oh my goodness, guys. Just pray that that doesn't happen.